Hey guys, this is Mr. Simonini here, and I hope your first day of e-learning was a positive experience for you. And I really hope that the second day goes smoothly for you too. Remember, if you have any questions, then I wrote it down here. If you have any questions, please email me at dsimonini@d211.org. Or if you want to shoot me a remind message, you can do that as well, or post something on Schoology. Um, Again, different ways you can communicate with me if you have any questions. Please be using it if you are having questions with what we're doing. So I'm just going to do this first problem with you. Your rest of the homework is going to be, you're going to have to do 2, 3, and 4. Well, what we're doing is we're graphing in standard form. And remember, probably the first step, the most important thing that you have to be able to find is the vertex, which is what you did yesterday. So what I'm going to do here, I'm got this, equation in standard form, y equals negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 6. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the vertex. Now, in order to find the vertex, remember, I have to identify my a, which is negative 2, my b, which is 12, and my c is negative 6. And to find the x of the vertex, remember, that is the formula opposite of b, or negative b, all over 2a. So in this example, it's going to be negative 12 over 2 times negative 2. Now, it's a little tricky, so understand that's negative 12 over negative 4, and negative over a negative is a positive, so that's going to be 3. So my x of the vertex, which is also considered the axis of symmetry, is x equals 3. So if you want to go ahead and write, the x part of the vertex, you can there. Now you have to find the y of the vertex. Now in order to find the y again, what you do is you plug in the x that you found into the equation to figure out the y. So I'm going to put that part here. So y equals negative 2 times, the negative 2 is outside the parentheses, so please be careful with that. So negative 2 parentheses 3 squared plus 12 times 3 minus 6. And what I'm going to do, and if you have trouble, doing that by hand, you can use your calculator that you should hopefully have open. So in this case, it can be negative 2 times 3 squared. I'm going to look back what I have here, plus 12 times 3. And then what was it? Minus 6? Okay, minus 6, which is 12. So I'm going to come here now, and I'm going to have y equals 12. So my vertex in this case is going to be 3, 12, which is going to be a little bit off the graph, but that is fine in this example. If you need to go a little bit off, you can. So what I mean by that, you see how it only goes up to 10? You can extend this out. Remember, these graphs go on forever and ever. Just kind of eyeball it, 11, 12 right there. And what you can do is you can plot that point. So 3, 12, which is going to be, I'm going to get rid of my little email thing. Actually, I'm going to move my email so it's not part of the problem. All right, there you go. Again, don't forget to email me if you have questions. So 312, which is going to be right about there. So again, just eyeballing it, that's where it will be. Now, what you're going to have to be able to do now is you're going to have to be able to make a table. So I'm going to make a table over here. And it's going to be a little bit different because you're at home. You don't have your yellow calculator, so I'm just going to review with you or just show you how you can do it in decimals. Remember, you want to put 3 in the middle because that's your vertex, and 3 went with 12. So your vertex always is going to go in the middle of your table. Now, a little bit different. You got to understand you're going to have to get 2 points above it, 2 points below it. So all you do is just increase your x's by 1 or decrease it by 1. So I'm going to increase first, so 3, after 3 comes 4, 5 is just going up 1, and then if I go before 3, that'd be 2 and 1. So now I got to figure out, now you could do it the long way by plugging these x's in, so you can do, 4 separate problems, or if you really understand that it's symmetric, you only have to do 1 and 2, and you're going to have the same answers down here with 4 and 5. But this is how you can do it in your calculator. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to decimals.com, and what you're going to do is hit start graphing, and I'm going to put the equation, okay, so it'll be y equals, and I have to look back, negative 2x squared, let's see, plus 12x, and make sure I'm good, is going to be minus 6. Okay, so minus 6. So this is my quadratic. Now you can check. You can kind of pinch and zoom in if you need to. My vertex, you can kind of click on it, is going to be 312. So I'm good there so far. So now I want to create a table. So when you create a table, remember what you do is you hit this little there's a gear on top of here that I got a little highlighted right now that you're going to want to click. So you click that, and there's a table button that shows up. Now what you're going to have to do though is the vertex is not going to show up in the middle. So you have to be careful. So you're actually going to have to put the x values in there by yourself. So 3, what comes before 3? Be 2, and then 1, and then after 3 be 4, and then 5. And then you're going to get your points. So again, your table is here, and as you can see nicely, your points show up on the graph. So you can kind of cross-check to make sure you're doing the problem right by graphing it on decimals.com if you want to. So I get those points, so it's about 4, 10. So this would be 4, this would be 10, so this would be 10, and this would be 4. Okay, so now I go ahead and graph it. So 210 was right here, 410 would be right here, and then 14 will be here, and then 54, make sure I don't mess this up, be right here. And then you graph your quadratic. Now when you graph it, remember, in this case, it's opening down. Understand, I like going all the way through my x-axis because it's going to help me out answer questions in the future. Now, it's a little sloppy. Let me clean it up a little bit. There you go. All right. So there's your quadratic, and then you have to answer your questions. Domain, again, this goes on forever and ever in the left and right direction. So remember, domain is always negative infinity to positive infinity for quadratics. In this case, it's opening down. So remember, when it opens down, you have to go from negative infinity to your top y. And your top y in this case is going to be 12. We have done so many problems like that in class, so you should know that. The number of solutions, this might be a little bit different one to you, is how many, remember, solutions are x-intercepts. And you have to understand, yes, we stopped our graph here, but it goes on down forever and ever. So it's going to cross the x-axis. Now, that's just a rough sketch right there afterwards, but if you look at decimals.com, it's hitting the x-axis twice. And I kind of highlighted the points. They're decimals in this case, but there are 2 x-intercepts. So that means there are going to be 2 solutions. Now, in this case, there are 2 solutions, and we'll figure out how to find those out later. But there's 2 solutions because there's 2 x-intercepts. There's an x-intercept right about here, and there's an x-intercept right about here. Just eyeballing it. Okay, it's not 1 and 6. Okay, it is actually not 1 and 6. We actually know it from decimals. It's about 0.5, 0.6 if you round it, and then 5.4 if you round it to 1 decimal place there. Just to be clear, this hashtag is not like Twitter or anything like that. This just means number. If you're wondering what the hashtag means. So it just means number. So number of solutions. So in that case, there's 2 solutions. The y-intercept in this case, so again, if you really want to know what the y-intercept is, remember that must mean that x is 0. So you plug in 0 in for x. In this case, it didn't show up in our table. So what you might need to do is you might need to plug 0 into the equation in order to figure out what that y-intercept is. So 12 times 0 minus 6. So in this case, these cancel out because this is 0. It don't really, this would be 0, so my y-intercept would just be negative 6. Just a heads up, when it's in standard form, your y-intercept is always your c value. It's just a little shortcut because whenever you plug in 0, it'll get rid of this quadratic term, it will get rid of the linear term, and it's going to always end up being your c. So just a little hint right there. And if you really want to check it out, since you have it on decimals.com, you can just check it by just clicking on it, on your y-intercept. Or you can go over to the table and just plug 0 in your table, and then it shows right there what your y-intercept is as well. So again, it's just some tips for finding the y-intercept right there. But anyways, that's the problem. What you're going to have to do, you're going to have to do 2, 3, and 4. Again, if you have any questions, then please email me at d7nini@d211.org. Thank you.